Welcome to Insights from the Contemporary Policy Institute and Americans for Democratic Action. And my guest today is Congressman Pete Aguilar. So first of all, thank you for joining us today, Pete.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Well, we're here today. We want to talk about California's Proposition 50 and the special election that's coming up in November. So let's begin, Congressman, with a brief description. Tell us, what does this proposition do and what does it not do? Just give us a brief summary of this proposition.
What Proposition 50 does is it temporarily redistricts California until 2031. That's what it does. The map has been passed. The map is part of this proposal. And then let me tell you why we got here, how we got here. Donald Trump and House Republicans want to change our redistricting around the country. They want to redistrict red states to gain a political advantage so they can continue to hold on and consolidate power. That's where we had been. The president called Governor Abbott and said, find me 5 seats. They are talking about active plans for 1 or 2 seats in Indiana, 1 seat in Missouri, 1 seat in Kansas, a couple in Ohio, Florida as well. That's how they plan to hold power and ensure that they continue reckless policies. So what the California Congressional delegation said, 43 members of the California Congressional delegation, the largest in the country, and with that comes some responsibility. We said we believe in independent redistricting. I love the Independent Redistricting Commission and voted for it. But there's no sense in having an independent redistricting commission if no one else is going to have an independent redistricting commission. We're going to be the only ones that has fair maps. So we decided to push back. Unlike Texas, we're putting the map in front of the voters.
I was going to ask you about that. So isn't it a little bit unusual to have voters actually vote on the map itself?
Yes. In Texas, Ohio, Missouri, Kansas, Indiana, state legislators are going to change the map, and they're going to pass the map, and then it's law, subject to court litigation. What we chose is to say to the voters, this is the position we're in. This is what Donald Trump and House Republicans want to do. This is how they plan to continue to win by changing the rules of the game. Do you want to allow us to push back? Do you want to allow us to draw a different map to help neutralize that political advantage while we honor the Voting Rights Act and ensure that this is a temporary measure so the commission would come back in 2031 after the next census? That's the simple question before the voters, and that's why California is handling this differently than other red states.
Donald Trump said, I need 5 seats. It's kind of an echo of what he said the first term when he called up in Georgia and said, can you find me 18,000 votes? So we're seeing a repetition of the same type of activity.
It's just who he is. Brad Raffensperger was a Secretary of State. Find me these votes, rather than, and this all stems from passing their one big ugly bill that assaults healthcare, takes away nutrition out of the mouths of kids, guts healthcare. I mean, like this is the bill that they passed in July, rather than in August trying to convince the American public that this is the right policy. This is what they chose to do. They chose to go to the state houses that are friendly and redraw the maps so they can continue to hold power in 2026, so they can continue to give Donald Trump a blank check toward whatever he wants to accomplish.
Well, let's take a look at the arguments that we're seeing in this campaign. So we know that the opposition is spending very heavily to defeat it. They're saturating social media with all kinds of negative ads. So let's take a look at their arguments and see how you respond to them. So one of their ads says, of course, that this is a power grab by Governor Newsom. So how would you respond to that specific ad? What would you say in opposition to that?
No, this is the voters exercising their ability to support a map. Governor Newsom merely signed the bill into law that puts this question before the voters. Governor Newsom did not draw the map, and Governor Newsom does not have the final say. He is merely putting this to the voters, and he's advocating for it, but ultimately the voters get the choice here.
Even in casual conversation, you'll hear people say, well, Texas was wrong to do it, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. And that's an argument that is persuasive in some contexts, right? But in this context, it's not that persuasive. So kind of address it that way. How are you talking to someone casually, over a beer, whatever? Oh, I agree with you, Pete, but 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say that this is an unusual time in our politics, and this is an opportunity that we have as Californians to meaningfully push back against this attack that we are seeing to our norms and our rule of law and our healthcare system, whether that's federal agents, trying, assaulting and tackling our United States senator, to militarizing the streets of Los Angeles, to taking, healthcare away from, 2 million Californians, which is what their bill would do. This is a different time, and it calls for a different response. And so traditionally, I would be supporting independent commissions, and I do nationally, but I don't believe in unilaterally disarming, only because we live in a nice blue state that plays by the rules.
So we have to redistrict in essence to kind of preserve democracy around the country.
Without a doubt, we want democracy to continue in all 50 states. We don't just want to have a good set of rules and politicians who follow the law in a couple states. We need that all over. And in order to do that, we have to win. We have to neutralize this political advantage that Republicans are seeking to gain, and ensure that there is a fair opportunity to flip the House in 2026. That's all this is about. We were afraid that we were going to wake up in January or February of next year, and we go from a 3-seat margin in the House of Representatives today to potentially waking up to a 14-seat disadvantage. And that's what this is about, and that's what Republicans would want, so they can continue to hold power and pass policies that hurt our communities.
This is a special election specifically for California. It's about California congressional districts. But as you've indicated, it clearly has tremendous national implications. So let's just summarize once more the national implications of this special election here in California.
Yeah, the national implications are the House of Representatives represents one of the few checks in the system that we have when we disagree with policies that the executive and that the president is trying to pass, in order to change course, in order to course correct, as has been done historically time and time again with elections, midterm elections, and the president, no matter who they are, Democrat or Republican, losing seats in the House of Representatives. America needs an opportunity to course correct. That's what this is about. And if Republicans have their way, they're going to engineer the system. So they, even with a modest course correction, we will not see that or feel that. That Donald Trump will continue to be in power. And I worry about the prospect of future elections in 2028 if we don't flip the House in 2026. So this is the ball game, and we can't stand by and put our hands in our pockets and let Republicans have a political advantage here just to hold power. We believe in democracy in all 50 states, and that's what this election is about on November 4th. If the status quo remained, if there was no redistricting in Texas or in California, and keep in mind, the governor in California, Governor Newsom, sent a letter to Governor Abbott before this measure was put on the ballot, and he said, "Stop, don't do this. Nobody has to do this." If Governor Abbott would have followed that, and nobody would redistrict in the country, Democrats would be going into this with a 3-seat margin to overcome. And I'm confident, and I know Republicans are confident, that we would overcome that margin and we would take back the House. So in order to insulate themselves and the terrible policies that they continue to force to the American public, they have tried to engineer this redistricting, mid-decade redistricting reform strictly for political purposes. We can't let them have that. We can't stand by and watch them do that without taking any action. In California, I'm proud to say, is forcefully pushing back.
Well, Congressman, thank you very much for your insights on this issue, and good luck. And I'll tell you what, we'll check back with you after the election and get your prognosis for taking back the House after the special election is over. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Andy.